unwatchable, I need you to enter in their information on the computer here.
Do I have?
Yes! Do it!
Hello everyone watching at home. If you're wondering just what the hell I've put on your screen, let me answer that question with a question. Who wants to make $1 billion? USD, obviously. We know the existence of Canada and Australia are government psyops. Everyone wants to win big on YouTube. That's why all the thumbnails you click on look ridiculous. And totally not because I grabbed a random piece of clip art from Google without realizing it was from an object show. And the quickest and easiest way to make a killing on YouTube these days, assuming the gods of copper don't smite you down like the fat, baby-armed, smelly monstrosity of a human you truly are, is by making slop content for kids. You don't necessarily need me to point out how low the bar is for low-effort slop content intended for children, but I'll run through the list for old time's sake. They're usually loud, annoying, most likely edited using crack-infused slave labor, nearly 200 years later and Americans are still finding ways around the proclamation, and made exclusively to be watched either by children or preteens on the cusp of puberty, which then explains all of the highly weird and suggestive content that find its way into these videos, blah blah blah, Elsagate blah blah blah. And nowadays it's even worse because 70% of this kind of content now can be generated by typing words into a computer. Now tung Sahur in Fortnite, now I gotta deal with this shit.
Oh, don't worry, I just launched the game. It says you received a gift. I wonder what it is. God fucking damn it.
And easily one of the most popular IPs that gets regurgitated through the mouths and stomachs of our AI overlords is the amazing Digital Circus, which is quite a depressing fact because the original show itself is actually very good, but I've already talked about that at length at this point. All you need to know is that no, Digital Circus is not AI, it's not slop, it's also not made exclusively for children. You should go watch it because it's genuinely one of the best animated shows released in the past 5 years, and I do not say that lightly. Anyway, Digital Circus slop content is everywhere, and while a considerable amount of it is thankfully quarantined by YouTube Kids so these absolute vultures don't earn a dime from their stupid garbage, a not insignificant amount can still absolutely find its way into your recommended if you're a fan of this show, especially if you're a mega fan. I mean, take it from me, I own plushies of Jax and Gangle and regularly watch video essays about the show by everyone's favorite white boy, and I get dumb bull crap like this in my feed almost every day. But every once in a while, once in a blue moon, once every 100 years, the annual every now and then, there comes a bit of slop content that catches people's attention, and it just kinda makes you smile at the absurdity of it.
What is wrong with you?
I love this for some reason. You may or may not have seen a couple of clips floating around of this weird-looking live-action Digital Circus video, specifically focusing on the actor playing Kane having a psychotic episode every 20 seconds as a result of the wind changing direction or something.
It's time! You don't want to learn? Huh? Any of you? And you! Wipe that smile off your face!
These clips come from a YouTuber named Andreas Iskander, who has a whopping 13 million subscribers. That's no small feat, let me tell you. Just don't go clicking his shorts tab because Andreas Iskander is most well known for his rich video library focusing on subjects like Italian brain rot and the world-famous 6-7 playlist. Now, a cynical mind would just tell you this person is a bottom-feeding content farmer with zero artistic integrity and is just making outrageous content based on popular memes and trends with some suggestive themes for easy clicks and easy money from young children and preteens on the cusp of puberty. The cynical mind is me. I'm the dickhead who's saying that. But I've always been fascinated by these live-action slop channels that actually seem to put a weird and kinda commendable amount of effort into their costume design. Like, they aren't winning any awards or anything, but I think a lot of people underestimate just how hard making a costume out of any makeshift materials really is. I'm pretty sure Kane's head is just a painted toilet bowl, and if that's the case, I gotta commend the resourcefulness there. Back on topic, Andreas Iskander would inevitably find himself making videos about Digital Circus shortly after the pilot came out in the fall of 2023. And if I'm being completely blunt for a second, I'm not about to pull a magic trick, triple backflip, or reveal so hard it puts you in a casket. Pack. These videos are not good by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of the people you'll see glazing these videos have certainly not watched any of them outside of the first two, and even that's pushing it. Most of this channel's Digital Circus videos consist of completely ad-lib scenarios. You'll find some meth head at the back of the N29 to Trafalgar Square reciting in his head while he dies of liver failure in front of you. That actually happened to me one night. Just kidding, I think Trafalgar Square's a shithole. It's the most random scenarios, random crossovers, and sometimes just borderline fetish content. There's like 2 videos here that would fit right at home on some underground ABDL website. I'm going to puke my guts out once I'm done recording this sentence. Wow, that was a good take. But ignoring the more bizarre parts of this channel, I wanted to focus on this absolute gem of a video today. I caught all Digital Circus characters at school in real life. I mean, look man, I don't want to be the one to police people on phrasing, but I don't think you should be catching anyone at school in real life. This video is the most popular one you'll see clips circulating from online, and after watching the full video twice now, first time on my own out of curiosity, and second time in a group call on Discord while Tara was blatantly disassociating, and right when Ty realized that an Adobe Premiere update completely nuked all of the effects on the video he had just about finished, so I kinda felt like a kid watching his iPad at full volume while their parents were arguing about a divorce, I can say with absolute certainty that I kind of ironically and unironically love this video.
Yo, that's not cool at all!
What's not cool?
Yo, what you just did! Like, look, she's crying!
Why the hell are you standing up, buddy?
Look, first things first, I get these guys are kinda just going with the super loud and annoying YouTuber for kids aesthetic, or whatever you wanna call it. I don't watch a lot of this kind of stuff if you couldn't tell, but Andreas just spends like 50% of this video mugging the camera and repeating, "This is crazy!" And I mean, specifically at the start of the video, it's so funny because his friend in the background is just standing still waiting to be activated like the content robot he is, while Andreas just flails around like a Smiling Friends character on fentanyl. I found it funny at first, but after the 18-minute mark, the video stops being good, and it became obvious the camera mugging was done to pad out time. This video is somehow 32 minutes long, like it's longer than the Digital Circus pilot somehow, and it definitely drags. The first 18 minutes though, Kino, it's Peem Kino Cinema.
I'm such a detention for bullying me!
No, I know, but wait, do you have a crush on him? Come on, you can tell us. Tell the viewers.
I mean, well, yeah.
Well, I knew it, guys. Pomni has a crush on Jax.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either, but Andreas Iskander was actually one of the earliest members of the Church of Funny Bunny. Do with this information however you please. I did praise the costumes earlier because that shit is genuinely hard to make and the effort is commendable, but I do also love how blatantly scuffed so many of them look. Zubul looks practically lobotomized, Rakafa's giving Duffy Digital Circus rather than Rakafa Digital Circus, Bubble is a lifeless homunculus, and Pomni looks like fucking Dream. The inherently shitty quality to the costumes gives this entire video a distinct charm that I kinda earnestly love. This is still slop, but damn it, for your information, I prefer high-effort, resourceful slop content made by man! Okay, so what's actually going on here? Very simple, actually. So basically, frickin' over here have entered a school in the middle of the night for some stupid reason and come across the cast of the amazing Digital Circus in real life, as they join them for a single lesson that consists of Kane having a public meltdown and then torturing Jax. Holy shit, they actually predicted episode 8. I might need to watch the rest of these videos to see what other insights these fellas have.
That's not how you take care of a baby. You have no idea what to do.
What the fuck is this garbage? That's basically all there is to the plot. It's what actually happens here that makes the video special. If you somehow haven't noticed, Kane is pretty much the highlight of these videos, as he spends 90% of his time crashing the fuck out at basically anything and anyone for so much as looking at him funny. Whoever is playing Kane is genuinely putting in 150%. He is carrying the entire production. His faux Kane-ish voice that's kind of like a cross between Patrick Starr and the previously mentioned meth head on the N29 to Trafalgar Square is honestly the funniest shit in the world. He's just constantly yelling and screaming the entire time, which may have something to do with the can of Red Bull sitting at his desk. It's quite entertaining, and you can tell they're at least somewhat self-aware about how ridiculous this whole thing is.
Come here!
What is going on? Oh, holy crap.
Get up! Oh my god, you're tall!
I guess that's kinda why I find this video weirdly endearing. It feels like everyone involved is fully aware of the utter clown show they are participating in, and are just hamming it up as much as they can. In many ways, it feels less like exploitative slop content, and more like a genuine parody. And then we get a bunch of suggestive shots of Pomni for no reason, and I'm slapped back down to reality. Yeah, these videos kinda take the expected route here. Nearly every thumbnail has the person playing Pomni put in a suggestive or flat-out compromised position, and that bleeds into the videos themselves too in some spectacularly cringe-inducing ways, with the subtlety and tact of Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Also, as hilarious as I find this video, the high energy does make it very exhausting to get through, especially when Kane starts bending the law of space and time with the power of his overwhelming BPD.
Now, we're gonna go ahead and continue. You guys wanna...
Like, that wasn't me. That cut is just in the video and it fucking kills me. The video is just bipolar in general and spirals out of control very quickly. I mentioned that the first 18 minutes are pretty funny and then it very quickly drops off, but that's not because stuff stops happening, it's just not as funny. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to react to the previously lobotomized Bubble suddenly growing legs and talking like a pissed off version of that one yellow twat from Finding Nemo.
Wait, what is that? Is that Bubble? Why does Bubble have legs?
Alright, what's going on up here, huh?
Yo, is this a different Bubble? Because it doesn't sound like the other Bubble that we've seen on my channel.
About different bubbles?
There's like a whole thing where Jax gets taken to detention, and there's this spooky mystery about the people who go to detention and how bad detention truly is, and then there's this brief horror sequence where frickin' stumble across Kane torturing Jax in detention and making him abstract.
What's going on? What the hell just happened?
Yo, how did that happen?
Yo, guys, I think he just made Jax abstract.
Then leading into this stupid-ass stealth sequence where Kane has the object permanence of AI Minecraft. At the end of the day, the plot of this video doesn't have a point. The cast at the Digital Circus are in real life. At school. Why? Kane Desk Slam.mp4. I could talk more about all of the weird shit in this video, like the note passing scene and the occasional glimpses we get of some parasitic creature inside of Kane's mouth, and the insane lore implication that none of these characters are actually the same ones from the Digital Circus series.
I don't want to do the school thing anymore.
Yeah, Digital Circus Kane is way better. This guy's more strict.
Meaning that hypothetically, these two bastards have been spending their time hanging out with a bunch of crackheads dressed in weird costumes, and I now fear for their safety. All jokes aside, terrible video. 10 out of 10. It's garbage, and I love it. I confess I have not watched any of the other videos outside of this one to see if it really is as bad as it looks. It is as bad as it looks. But from what I've seen on social media, there's still plenty of clippable moments to be found, so who knows? Maybe all the other videos are as funny as this one. I will never know, because this is where I depart.
Holding a gigantic toothbrush.
Well, I gotta keep my teeth clean, don't I?
I don't talk about slop content very much, but I at least got to talk about some authentic man-made slop that I at least found somewhat amusing. Thank you all for listening to my regularly scheduled ramblings about inane bullshit. I will be back next week with my brand new, unfiltered, dogshit opinions on things you love or hate. Thank you for watching. Yes, that Kiwami free video is still being made. I have like 450 gigabytes of footage to sift through, just be patient.